Hey guys, it's Lewis or the Comic Knight. But right now I'm not gonna do something very comic book like. But I've just been diving very much into conspiracies and the supernatural and videos like that, and I've just always had experiences with it, and I just thought I'd kind of share a little bit of my experience with you and a little bit of the background of what I'm going to talk about. Today I'm going to be discussing shadow people. Well, need to add some appropriate music. By the way, this is the Philip Glass Ensemble. It's the Prut Ego and Prophecies. It's on the Watchmen album, and it's a very good song when you want to play eerie and kind of scary music. Okay. Oh. Okay. So basically, what shadow people are basically dead remnant souls um, that kind of just float around, but they're not really people. Because when I say shadow people, I mean that they're embodiments of men and women, but they're just all black, like a shadow. But you never see their face. You don't see what they're wearing. You don't see anything. They're just a giant embodiment figure of a shadow, and you don't see these things uh, only you don't really see these things in the morning or during the day. You see them at night, and usually you have to wake up in the middle of the night, or you have to be walking in the middle of the night to see them. And they sometimes like to take the shape of different people, and a lot of people notice them and see them after they've confirmed that somebody in the household or somebody near their area has died. Now, I'm not sure how they got there or why they became shadow people instead of just being souls that we can't see. But for some reason, their embodiment or something happened that made them so powerful that you can see them as just a shadow. And they just walk around in houses, and like they just walk around, or sometimes they just watch you, or they look at you and they watch you sleep, or they're just right there in your corner just staring at you. Now, if you've seen these, then you're fine. I'm not saying like in any way are they dangerous or we should do something. No, but I'm saying they're just kind of there. I don't think they really have a choice in the matter, in my opinion, based on what I've experienced and what I've seen. And the reason I want to put this out, I'm sorry, I kind of have a cough. The reason I kind of want to put this out there is more or less because ever since I was 10, I always felt like there was something there. And I always saw something there. But every time I try to explain to people or tell people, it was there, it was looking at me. And like everyone sees, like, what are you talking about? Like, never. It's always at night. And I'm always looking over my shoulder. And it scares me. It was very scary, especially since I was 10. One night I remember my mom had to call my dad in the middle of the night. We used to live in this apartment in Downey. And I went to her room and I said, Mom, I can't sleep. And she said, why? And I was like, there's somebody in my room. And she immediately ran to my room and she says, Lewis, there's nobody. And I'm like, Mom, I'm telling you right now, there's someone looking at me while I'm sleeping. And sometimes he's in my closet, sometimes he's in front of the frame of my bed. He's there. And I just felt and saw it. I saw it. I saw a body. Of course, it was so dark I couldn't see it. I didn't have a camera at the time. I was 10. I'm not one of the kids right now that's running around with an iPhone. But yeah, I saw it, and it got to the point where she tried to comfort me, she tried to help me and say like there's nothing there, and I don't know how to deal with it. This is like the first time I'm actually really seeing them while I'm sleeping. I mean, I've had a past since I was like 7 or 8 of seeing them sometimes in other people's houses at night, but like me as a kid seeing it in my room, it was very traumatic. And my dad even came like at freaking 12 at night to help me like read me to sleep, and it escalated to a point where I would have to put the bed sheets over my head, or I would sleep with charms, and some nights I wouldn't sleep. Now, here's where it gets really scary. If you know a lot about sleep paralysis, if you know sleep paralysis, then you know how freaking terrifying it is. to just be laying there and have nobody around to hear you. You can't move, you can't get up, sometimes you can't even breathe. And I've had that so many times in my life, and doctors have confirmed that it's because of bad sleeping patterns or it's connected with anxiety. But I've had it so much in my life that it was just scary. Like, I try to call out for people, but it just comes out as snores, and no one can hear me, no one can help me. And sometimes I just lay there, and like sometimes I'm afraid that I'm gonna die because no one can hear me or see what I'm gonna do. Like, no one knows what's going on in my head. They can't do anything. But here's why I bring up sleep paralysis. One night, I was just laying on my back. And, like, I open my eyes just barely, and I see it. The shadow. The shadow person was on top of me. And I was right there. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. He just laid his hands right on my neck. And I couldn't see. I couldn't move. I was completely frightened still. I was scared stiff. And it was connected to sleep paralysis because, again, it could have been a dream. It could have been something. But I couldn't get up. I couldn't breathe. I tried to scream. Nothing came out. And then more and more of these videos started coming up about shadow people, and I've been dealing with them my whole life. And sometimes it's hard to scare me. Like, I love horror movies. I love, like, blood and gore, and like, I love getting scared. And people are like, why? Like, some people don't know why. It's because I've run out of things to be scared of. I have a reason to be scared in the dark. But I've been around it for so long, it doesn't bother me. They don't bother me. I mean, I've had sleep paralysis for a long time, and I've connected it to the shadow people, but I haven't seen a shadow person on top of me causing my sleep paralysis since I was 15. And I'm just saying, like, maybe the sleep paralysis has something to do with shadow people. It might, maybe a theory that maybe they're trying to get in your head, or maybe they're trying to take your body for a spin while you're sleeping. That's why you can't move, because your body's in the process of becoming something else. And the more you move around and the more you try to get up, like, you basically push it out when you're awake. I don't know, I feel like you're very vulnerable when you're asleep. So I feel like shadow people have more of a chance to possess or to take you over when your eyes are closed and when you're just completely knocked out. Now, there's a way to get out of sleep paralysis if you struggle with that. What I like to do is I like to move my feet first. I like to shake a little bit of my toes. And I like to shake it fast, kind of. And I just like to, gyrate and just move rapidly so that way the rest of my body gets moving. And sometimes I like to shake, and then sometimes I just, I shake my whole body until I just shake myself awake. And then sometimes I wake up so relieved and so astonished that I even woke up. But yeah, I've always dealt with shadow people, just watching them in other people's homes. And sometimes I walk and I see them in corners. I see them sitting down or just looking at me. Like I'm the only one that can see them. And it's gotten to a point where now more people can see them. Maybe they're making themselves known. Now, a lot of people, I don't want anyone to be scared, because a lot of people connect them to be like guardians, or they're just watching. But why? Why are they watching? Maybe they can't pass over. Maybe they're the souls that are in limbo. Or maybe they're the observers, the Grigori. Whatever it is, it's a scary thought. I just wanted to put this out there, kind of share what shadow people have done to me and what they mean to me, and kind of my theory of why they're here and what they do. But thank you for joining me today. I'm gonna kind of make these a thing, maybe not a lot, because shadow people were kind of the main thing, but I'm gonna try my best to give you my experience with what I've had with the supernatural. But definitely more comic videos coming up, and more comic hauls, nerd hauls. But yeah, I'm gonna do more rants and more conspiracies and more supernatural, because I hold those things very dear to my heart. So thank you for joining me today. I am the Comic Knight, or Louis Sabatero, And keep on reading, nerds.